Welcome to another Petersburg By Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome back to Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. I am Devlin Kane, your humble storyteller this evening, and these are my lovely players. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Nori, and I'll be playing Bellatrix, the Whip of Clan Malkavian.
Hi, I'm Kendall. I'll be playing Maggie Haywood, the Hecata.
Hello, I'm Lakar, and I am playing Matthew Howden, the Black Sheep Toreador.
Hi, I'll be playing Sophie, the Malted Milkshake Malkavian.
Last we left off. After handling a few personal errands, the coterie was given a new task by Edwin Kane. Seems that a truck with a very important package is being delivered from the Anarch territory of Palm Harbor all the way to the Dolly Museum. They've been tasked with escorting it to make sure it gets from point A to point B. A few other things happened in that time that might require a bit of looking into. And in fact, that is where we'll be starting this evening. Bellatrix, you received a text from your Privigen, Charlie, asking you to go have a formal meeting with a new Malkavian in town. You were given the address, and you set out after the conversation that you had with your coterie. What's on your mind as you are approaching your destination?
Really, mostly thoughts of Cheryl's predicament with Jeffrey, who I believe is Salubri, but also a couple other things like Edwin's new mission, and I will shake all those from my mind as I prepare to meet this new Malkavian. I put on a bright smile.
Before long, you make your way to not It's a little, like a good mile or so south of the border to the neutral zone. You find your way to this little like apartment complex, a gated one. It's a nice little neighborhood. You find a place to drop off, and you follow the instructions to your location. As you get there, it's one of those panels that have like all of the names and address like for each room that you can address, but you find one that is blank. None of the others seem to match the name that you were given.
I'll peek in this one.
You activate that one.
Yeah.
You push the button. After a few moments, you get no one picks up. You just get the indicator that the door unlocks, letting you into the building. When you step in, despite the fact that it seems to be a nice neighborhood, the location here seems to be a bit quiet. It almost looks like it's kind of like a hospital where people are staying, where it kind of goes after dark and they dim the lights at like 50%, things on that line. It has that kind of visual to it. There's not a whole lot of activity. The person behind the counter at the entrance of the hotel that kind of is checking people as they go in almost seems to be kind of vacantly observing things. They don't even address you as you step in.
Okay.
You make your way to the elevator, go up to the floor, and finally make your way to the room itself. As you approach, you can see. Give me a wits awareness.
I would also like to activate Sense the Unseen.
Certainly.
All right, 2 successes on Sense the Unseen, and then
Nothing is jumping out at you that's not meant to be seen, but you do notice that the door seems to already be propped open just a little bit.
okay. 4 successes on Wits and Awareness.
Yeah. You notice that the door seems to be propped open just a little bit as you step up to the door. You can hear what kind of sounds like kind of like swing music that got slowed down a few points. It's very kind of dragging a bit, but still kind of keeping a melody. It kind of gives it like a weird haunted tone for something that's usually meant to be pretty upbeat.
I'll knock on the door. I know it's propped open, but loud enough to sit over the music. Hello?
Oh yes, please come on in.
Of course, I'll
Make yourself at home.
open the door and peek inside. I believe I'm supposed to have a meeting with a newcomer here.
You must be the whip Bellatrix. About that moment, he steps into the room. He is wearing, and you immediately recognize him, an orange suit. His hair is not fully silvered. It still has a lot of brown, but there are some like silver streaks. He's got it brushed back. He has a very well trimmed beard.
That would be me. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Oh, well. My friends call me Jay. Please come on in.
Jay. All right. I'll step inside.
You step into the room, and you can tell this place seems to be in the middle of a room. The carpet has been ripped up. There's a wall that's been completely torn down. It looks like he's just kind of moved in and started doing whatever hell he wants with the place. You can see there are buckets of paint that are set up, and again, mostly orange, but with a few other like yellows, reds, and blue. You step into the room and he goes over and sits down on this very nice looking chair with a kind of like black leather to it and gestures for you to sit down on this very nice looking couch. The furniture doesn't look like it belongs in this space for the most part.
I'll
He
sit
sits down and crosses his legs.
Love what you're doing with the place. I'm sure it needed some redecorating.
Oh, it's a work in progress.
So, Jay, what brings you to our pretty city?
Say it's a family matter.
Hmm.
I have some relatives in town that I would like to reunite with.
That I understand perfectly. I mean, in a way, we're all kind of family, but I understand the relatives.
Of course. I only mean to say that these are direct descendants, so to speak. My
Okay.
childer went missing some time ago, and I am trying to. I understand that he sired a couple of children, and I am looking to meet them, maybe learn what happened to their sire. It has been some time.
Oh, okay. Well, my condolences on your missing child, or I hope you do find them.
Appreciate it. It has been a while since I've been to a new city. What is it that exactly you would like to know? I'm sure there's some.
Well, did you just arrive?
I've been in. I've been in the area for a few months, but only just recently stepped in the city itself.
How are you finding our fair city?
I can't say I can complain much about a city that seems to be run by Malkavians.
Not exactly. The prince is Toreador.
The Princess
But-
Toreador, sure. But with a population this large and having an oracle,
True, we do have a actual close relationship with the Toreador in the city, so we are very favored. You did luckily come at a time when there is no longer someone trying to murder all of us. That issue has been taken care of.
well, that's good.
Yes. Yes. I'd be remiss in asking, but if you were a bagel, what type of bagel would you be?
Forgive me, I haven't had a bagel in a very long time. But, Probably one with some kind of icing and sprinkles.
Icing and sprinkles. I like that. I like that. Okay. Okay. What are the names of these grandchilder of yours? Perhaps we would know them.
Well, one, I believe you actually have met recently, because I do recognize you, seeing you as I was held at gunpoint by an associate of yours.
There was that.
Duncan is one of them. But I do understand that there is another, goes by the name of Sophie.
Ah. Okay, and if I were to arrange some sort of meeting or get in contact with them, what could I get out of it?
My deep appreciation.
Deep or just slight?
I haven't been in touch with my childer. I've never really... I met Duncan a very long time ago. I haven't heard or seen any of them. In about half a century.
Didn't the people you were with have Duncan captured? You didn't talk to him then?
Oh, see, Duncan was snooping around with Chicago's business, and I was just here for them. But they would not let me communicate with them, but I wouldn't dare interfere with Camry business. But I was assured that he would be released into my custody once they got what they needed.
Ah, so you didn't have a chance to talk to him. They were holding him captive. Got it. It was quite chaotic there, wasn't it? Kind of fun.
Oh, very entertaining.
You did
The
seem to
zombie
be...
situation was very interesting.
That it was. You did seem to be enjoying yourself.
Boredom is the enemy.
And if you do happen to meet them, what do you plan on doing with them?
Please excuse my politics, but I've only just met you. And I appreciate the interest, but that is between me and my family.
That is fair. That is fair. It's just... You know, they've also been a part of the city for a short period of time, and we did to be protective of our own, so... I want to make sure nothing untoward happens to them.
I assure you nothing untoward is going to happen. I mean them no harm.
I'll see what I can do then.
That would be greatly appreciated. Should I be addressing you as Whip? I mean no disrespect.
No, not here. I suppose in more formal settings, sure, but we're just having a conversation here right now, so you don't have to address me as Whip at the moment.
Thank you kindly.
You're welcome.
Give me a what's an insight.
Okay. You said wits and what? Sorry.
Insight.
Insight.
good.
Okay. Four successes.
You notice that as you're kind of observing him, you notice that he's doing a couple things. The foot that is crossed over his leg is tapping in tandem with the hand on the same side is also the fingers tapping, but it seems to be tapping in intervals of 5. And after a moment, you realize that the song has been slowed down to match that rhythm as it beats in tandem with the music. That's when you start noticing other things: 5 buckets of paint, 5 portraits on each wall. There seems to be a pattern with the number 5. And with your previous wits and awareness, as you're also kind of looking around, exploring the place, you notice on the wall behind him, there are 5 paintings all kind of lined up with each other. One looks like a squirrel that looks a little panicked and kind of hiding in the base of a tree. Beneath that one, or to the left and right of that one, you see one that looks like the image of a strong-looking, like, elk. On the other side of the squirrel, you see what looks to be a bear, kind of just sit back and resting against a tree. But beneath the squirrel, there are 2 more. There is one image that looks kind of like a peacock, kind of in a pose, kind of strutting. And then next to it, you see a very, like, adorable but very timid-looking white rabbit.
Do they look to be all of the same style? Like
These are
painter style?
paintings. Yeah, it looks like these are paintings, yes.
Okay. Those are interesting paintings.
Oh, thank you. I did those quite some time ago.
Oh, you're an artist.
I don't know about saying that, but I do dabble.
I have heard. You know, some Toreador will say differently, but I have heard on some authority that anybody who does work is an artist. Whether or not they're good, that's subjective. So I've heard. So, have you visited any of the museums in the city?
I've always found Dali to be a little pretentious. But no, I haven't had the pleasure yet. I'm sure I'll get the opportunity to whenever there's a next Elysium.
True. Well, see. So, you do know about the this area, which belongs to the Camarilla, and I'll lay out the borders of the area. And up north, we kind of have a group of anarchs that have come to stay, and supposedly they were invited here, but they're anarchs, so they do whatever they want and cause a bunch of chaos up north. But in the center, in the middle, kind of is a neutral zone area where any of us can go and meet and speak, really.
Yes, I found this very interesting. We had anarchs, of course, up by Chicago, but they were also brazen. The allocation of territory seems an interesting choice.
From what I understand, I wasn't here at the time, but the former prince invited them as a way to start a conversation, I suppose, to see if some sort of common ground could be found. I'm not sure if it has, honestly. Every now and then I hear of some crazy wildness that's happened there, but, sometimes it sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, seems you can't step through the area without some water main breaking. Definitely something needs to be corrected with the city's infrastructure.
Indeed, I have heard that, especially up there. And, you know, our borders are well protected by our sheriff.
I heard the Scourge is more adept at keeping the enemy at bay, so to speak.
True.
Quite a fascinating fellow. Have you had the pleasure?
I have not. I have not had the pleasure yet. Have you?
I got a glimpse of them when I met the prince.
Ah, well. I'm sure that was quite a sight to see.
Horrifying.
Horrifying or enlightening?
Often
Or a bit
one
of
and the
both.
same.
True. So do you have any questions for me?
Well, it does sound like you do know where my grandchild are at. I suppose my following question should be, when might I get the opportunity to finally meet them?
Well, let me get in contact with them. I have met them on several occasions, but I don't know where they stay. Honestly, that's up to them. I don't keep tabs of every Malkavian's place of living in the city. We're all fairly private. But I can get in contact with them and let them know you'd like to meet.
Very good. Well, frankly, that's all I'm quite curious about at this time. I'm sure you and I will have plenty of time to get more acquainted unless there's something else you need.
One last question.
Of course.
What constellation would you be?
I don't like to be so boldly incandescent. I prefer the shadows that lie behind them.
Good to know. Well, it has been a pleasure to meet you, and I will let our Primogen know that we've spoke, and I will get in contact with both your grandchilder and let them know you would like to meet.
I would be much obliged, and pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss Bellatrix.
Pleasure as well. Will this be a place that I can contact you?
I think I will be staying here for some time, yes.
Excellent. Have a good evening, Jay.
Have a good evening. And he will show you the door.
All right. I'll sweep out. Head down the hall.
What's on your mind as you leave the apartment?
Well, shit. That's coming up for Sophie and a lot faster than we expected. I will be sending her a message on her very poor phone that we should meet and speak on urgent business as soon as she can.
Okay. As you head on your way, we will shift scenes. Matt, where do we find you this evening?
Matt is currently at the New de Noche, painting the mural behind the bar. A little excitedly and also anxious at the same time, because when he woke up, he took 2 packages that were on his porch at Night Bloom and brought them inside, and he snickered at the one and looked somberly at the other. So he's kind of just... the emotions are mixed, but he's channeling it into the painting.
What is it that you're painting?
He is painting the mural of Isabel on the back of behind the bar.
What is on Matt's mind while you're painting?
He's lingering on the one package, and it was something he wouldn't... no one would ever be happy to receive. And he knows that he's going to have to speak to Maggie once he gets done with everything and give it to her. And he's not looking forward to that conversation.
You continue painting for a while, but then finally get to a point where you need to give it some time. As you are finished with the task at hand for the moment, you are kind of left alone with what comes next. What do you wish to do?
He's going to clean up and then walk his way back to Night Bloom Studios.
You make your way back to the studio. All of your finished or work in progress is kind of strewn about. And then you can see the package. Almost taunting you.
He's going to make his way in closer to it and pick it up. Nothing would do you justice. And then he goes to say something else and he just stops. I actually know I'm talking to no one at this point. And then he'll start to... he's gonna get an Uber to go down to Maggie's place.
We change scenes as we make our way to Maggie's mortuary. Would you like to describe your new arrangement? Maggie, the location that you've been given after the events of Chicago. I can't hear you.
Did they change?
Well, you have moved. You've been moved closer to the territory.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It looks fairly similar. It looks like it's a little more sturdy. Like there have been efforts to be a little more fire resistant at the front. But it looks like a regular mortuary. There's just a little sign with the name basically Lewis's mortuary and crematory services. And as you head in, it's pretty simple. First you see Dr. Corwin. Then you head further back and you find her.
What is Maggie doing as he's being escorted?
Maggie knows he's coming, right?
Yeah, he would have made arrangements to meet her down there.
Okay. Then she would already have basically everything set up. There is a little like box. It looks like it's full of various sample jewelries, and a wooden box that has been closed with a sketchbook that is sitting near her. She's just kind of perched near it, waiting.
When Matt walks in, he will just clear his throat unnecessarily. Evening, Maggie.
Matt. Thank you, Dr. Corwin. Kind of waves him off and lets him close the door behind him.
Of course. Shuts it behind him.
Are you ready?
I'm gonna have to be. Oh, and he holds out. It's a square, dark bluish box as he's walking closer towards her. And he opens it up, and there is a large, what looks like dark red heart with silver designing on it that looks like a rose. This is what I picked for her.
May I?
Please.
She'll take it. She'll hold it in between her hands very delicately. It's beautiful.
It definitely fits.
Will you tell me about her?
She was more of the romanticist. She absolutely loved. She didn't believe in happy endings, but she loved seeing them. And let me tell you, the expression big things come in small packages. God. Me and Louis would be at each other's throat, arguing over who was right. And this woman would come in like a tornado neither one of us stood a chance. She grounded us. She made sure that nobody did anything stupid enough that they were going to get seriously harmed. Mostly because, thieves being in a hospital tends to end badly for them. But she was fierce. Smart as... smarter than me.
As he is talking, she has laid out a towel and put the heart on it, unscrewed it, and has put a funnel delicately into the entrance and started to gently tap the ashes in. She sounds like she made you feel alive.
And then some. She made me feel like nothing in this world would ever hurt me. She looked like she was delicate, but she was made of iron.
Had to have an iron rod spine to deal with you and what did you say his name was, Louis?
Yeah. Two of the most stubborn bastards in Boston. And she could floor us with a look.
I've heard that about many Italian mother.
I think that's why anyway, she was the unstoppable force. And I'll be damned if she didn't prove that she could move the unmovable object.
Do you believe yourself unmovable?
It depended on the context. I didn't want to give an inch on anything. I wasn't going to change my stance. She taught me to be pliable. That sounded wrong.
Get it. Sounds like she helped you with your flexibility in a couple of different ways. It also sounds like she helped you be moved. Is she why you enjoy art?
No, she is the reason I made it my whole personality. It was a theft that made me enjoy art.
But she made you realize what art.
She reached in and yanked out the potential.
Do you feel like your potential is still there?
I'd say so. I just needed to get things put into focus. And she helped me with that too. Just not in a way that she will ever see.
Maggie will nod, and once there's a small amount of ashes left, she will kind of reach over to the jewelry box. I have a question for you.
Of course.
Normally, these are only offered to widowers or widows. She'll pull out one necklace, and it looks like a stainless steel bar, but you can see it's got a screw on top. Would you like to keep her a piece of her close to your heart? I know this will be in your home, but sometimes it's something to have all the time.
Yes, I think I would.
All right. She'll fill a small amount of the ash into the little tube, screw it tight, seal it off, pour the rest of it into the heart, screw it on, seal it off. She will hand him the necklace. It's not particularly flashy, but you didn't strike me as flashy.
No, I always try to keep a low profile. Con of the con artist.
Understandable. Did she have faith?
She believed that she had faith in things and people, but not towards any higher powers.
How do you believe she would want to be celebrated?
Quietly, she hated surprise parties. She just enjoyed close friends, the company of those she loved. She hated being doted over. And I loved every second of watching the expression on her face change when I did just that.
You know, she probably loved those parties because they were from you. and then promptly hated them.
Yeah. She was better at the bullshit than I was. He's gonna look at the necklace and then put it around his neck. Not the jewelry I wanted to give you, Duchess, but
It's not much, but it keeps her close.
it's perfect, Maggie. Because it keeps her close.
Maggie will kind of cradle the heart in her hands and gently hold it out to him. Considering art is what brought you two together, perhaps you should take her through a museum again. One last time.
Sounds like a good idea.
Would you like company? Or would you like to do this alone?
I think it's... And he just looks down at it. She wouldn't let me be alone. It would be a slight against her spirit if I didn't have company.
Then I will go with you.
I thank you.
As you make your arrangements, we shift to another scene. Bellatrix, where do you have Sophie meet you?
Probably at the Ascent.
Sophie, you get the message saying that you need to discuss some urgent business. What crosses your mind as you make your way to the Ascent?
Sophie is a little tired of there always being urgency. She feels like it's just been a constant barrage of crisis after crisis, and she's worried for Duncan because of what Duncan said, that he was going to look into things on his own, and she's hoping that he doesn't do something stupid.
Not being very far from one another, the trip it takes you to get from Books and Bourbon to the Ascent isn't a long one. When you make your way inside, Bellatrix will already be there waiting for you. Scene is yours.
Oh, good. You arrived rather promptly. Sit down. We should talk.
Sophie will take a seat across from Bellatrix. Yes, your message seemed rather urgent. Is everything all right?
Well, for me it's fine, but for you would probably be some problems since you did not seem to want to meet your grandsire, and he was the one I had the meeting with tonight.
Grandsire. Oh, what? Oh, wonderful.
Sophie, you don't have to play like it's wonderful. You obviously are nervous.
Well, we should always respect the elderly.
Sure. He wants to find you. I said that I would get in contact with you and Duncan and see if you would like to meet with him. That's all I gave him.
I suppose he's not going to drop that, is he?
Seeing as he seems to be in the city only to find the two of you, as he's looking for his own child, I assume your sire, most likely. No, I don't think he's going to drop it. So, what would you like to do?
I suppose. Well, I'll have to speak to Duncan about it, but I'm sure we could meet him one time. That shouldn't be an issue. Perhaps after meeting us, he will realize that maybe he should just go back home.
You're fairly optimistic when he was willing to work with people that kidnapped Duncan or held him captive.
Yes, well, that is the Chicago sort. But perhaps after speaking with us, he'll realize there's no reason maybe to have such family bondings. Maybe he'll find us a bit boring and shove off.
Do you know where your sire is? Maybe you could use that to send him away.
Sophie's going to activate Mind Mask. Knowing is a bit difficult at the moment.
Just from my reference, what does Mind Mask do?
So Mind Mask will, if someone tries to use supernatural means to tell your emotions or what you're thinking, it will help mask over that.
Okay, but regular wits and intuition is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like to use that now.
Okay, just reading it over real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, wits and insight against intelligence and obfuscate.
That's 3 successes for Mind Mask.
Okay.
One success.
Appears genuine.
Actually, one success, and it might be a bestial failure. Yeah, because I've
Ah. Yep. Um. Well, for this, we'll say you take 1 hunger.
Okay. Well, if you're sure, I can arrange a meeting. Would you like it to be somewhere, a neutral space? I'm sure you don't want him to know your own place.
Yes, that would be much more preferable.
Would you like it to be at the Dali? I mean, Elysium is always neutral and no powers can be used, or we can pick some other place.
Yes, that might be best considering I don't really want him to potentially force me to take any actions, say leave with him or other things such as that.
True. And did you want me to be present, or Charlie to be present, perhaps, to facilitate things?
I should probably discuss with Duncan first. It's a lovely offer for you to be present, and I may take you up on that. But as this is a direct family affair, I'm not sure.
I get it. We all have family secrets.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Sophie, if you... same thing I told him. He wasn't willing to say what he wanted with you or how long he planned on staying, but if he does something that you're uncomfortable with, let me know. There are ways to handle things.
Well, it's always uncomfortable thinking of sitting down with such an elder with the kind of abilities that they have. It feels a bit I feel a bit vulnerable potentially meeting him when I don't know if I could hold my own, as it were.
Okay, well, you and Duncan decide what you want to do and let me know, and I'll set the meeting up. Perhaps you can convince him to leave the city to search somewhere else.
Let us hope.
Your sire's not here, correct? Am I?
No. Well, maybe. Unclear.
You don't know where your sire is.
There is a possibility. I've heard some of the others speak of elder kindred leaving and being called to somewhere else. This may have happened.
You're talking about the beckoning.
The beckoning. Yes.
That's what most are calling it. So, okay, well, nobody really knows how it happens, so sure. Then,
Perfect. No one knows how it occurs.
there's a bunch of theories if I understand correctly, but no. Nobody knows why certain ones go and other ones stay.
Yes, that's probably what happened then. That does seem to fit the circumstances.
Well, then, I suppose that it'll be a short conversation then. Then yes, let me know, and I will definitely help. Other than that, how are you? How are you doing? How are you settling in?
After the attack, things have settled down. Everything is up and running again. We had our grand reopening, and the patrons seem to have settled down a bit. They are always so, affected by many things that sometimes the events that happen can be blown over fairly quickly. So those with loved ones involved obviously are still upset. And we've made a nice little memorial plaque for those that were affected. So there's a bit, some uneasiness still, but I think things will be better from here on out.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad that your book cabaret, I suppose, is back up and working well.
Yes, it's nice to have that.
It's always nice to have a passion for what we do. Kind of helps the hours pass, the days, the nights.
Yes, it does give something to work toward.
Indeed.
I'm also hopefully going to be applying to schools soon now too, so that will be exciting. It's a bit stressful and daunting, but it is exciting.
Oh. You're going for chemistry, right?
Yes.
I think I remember you mentioning something about that.
Yes, specifically nuclear energy.
I have no idea anything about nuclear energy, so I am interested to hear Chris. Perhaps you'll teach me.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. That actually is a very good technique for studying. Is if you attempt to teach someone else, it really forces you to learn the material.
Well, in that regards, I'm probably a blank slate. Just completely nothing there.
But yes, I do think we should meet up with the others though to see about that the chicken fighting.
Yeah. Sure. We should. Shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Son of a bitch. And with that, we will bring everyone back together to these sets. After a little time passes, it's been roughly most of a week. A couple days out until the job has to get done in Palm Harbor. It's dawned on you that none of you have heard from Gray, which is usually an indicator that something has happened, as Gray does enjoy very much to be present. Additionally, things have been relatively quiet in the city. No fires, no explosions. Even the water main breaks have slowed down. As you guys arrive, I will go ahead and put you guys in the main little lobby area that you typically meet in. I will go ahead and give you the scene.
I am currently texting on my phone to Gray's number as, you better not be ghosting me. I swear, Gray, you had better text me back soon. I need to know you're okay.
Much
Matt,
like the other texts that have been sent, there's no response. Go ahead, Matt.
Matt will be walking in with a small case and a longer package under his arm. It looks like the larger case. It looks like a small crate for transporting paintings on frames.
Just look up. Have you spoken with Gray? Has he come knocking on your door or texted you or called you about anything?
No, I was about to ask you the same damn thing. I brought this to show him just in case he was here. Oh, and this is for you. And he will just kind of smirk as he hands Bella the small package that he had under his arm.
Take the packet and unwrap it. Oh,
It is a 6-foot-long bubblegum pink whip.
she'll grin. Excellent. Oh. She'll try it out. Failing, obviously, because she has no idea how to use a whip. I'm going to have to practice with this. Anyways, I haven't heard from him. And I don't like it.
I do very much hope that he wasn't potentially devoured by one of his spirits. If that's possible, can they do that?
If
I
anything,
don't-
he's probably stuck in Victor.
Do you think he could possess someone? Is that what you're referring to?
No, Victor is his obsession.
boyfriend?
We could call him that too, I suppose. But even when he spends time with Victor, he usually is still texting because he wants the attention. He hasn't contacted me in days. Well, guess I'll just look into it.
Do you know where he lives?
Did he ever share where he moved, Devlin?
To my knowledge, he did not.
No, we tend to keep our places private for the most part. I'll do a reading later. Figure some things out, ask a couple questions around. Might have to track down where Victor is holed up as well.
You could always see about asking his whip or permission. You're whipped now, aren't you? Don't you have access to them now?
I could go and look into it.
I have not seen him.
So we're down Gray for now, but I believe we should be visiting this fight club to see if we can hire some muscle for the thing Edwin wants us to do, correct?
Yes.
Did anyone get any information on this place or anybody who is a good prospect?
I don't think we've looked into the place. It's just a fight club, from what we've been told.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's not in my wheelhouse.
fair. So, I guess we go and be pleasantly surprised?
Yes. And if we find anyone interesting, I'm sure we can throw money at it.
I guess, Matt, you're going to be the one doing most of the talking since Gray's not here. If that's okay?
That works for me.
Okay. So are we gonna have a cab or are we gonna take someone's car? I don't have one, of course.
I'll get us a lift.
I can have Dr. Corwin drive us if you'd like.
Or that works too.
That kind of works better. You're sure he's not a hunter, right? Because we've been burned before.
He has been thoroughly vetted.
Good, good.
And she will shoot off a text to Jarvis.
Speaking of thoroughly vetting people, if I am ever to get possessed or told to give a directive under not my will, the code word, if you ask me, if it's really me, I'll say pineapple, and that's how you'll know that it's really me.
Pineapple. Okay.
Are you under fear of possession?
Well, we do have those spirits that don't seem to be going away, and with people going away and not acting like themselves, I don't know if it's a possibility. Also, it seems that my grandsire is in the area, and he is quite adept, possibly, at giving directions that perhaps I may not desire. So I thought it might just be a good idea to have some sort of keyword that you would know that it's actually me.
So if you start acting not like you, then we wait for you to give the keyword, or what? Should we have a key phrase or something that could lead you to saying the keyword so the
Oh,
person
yes,
possessing you may not know?
that might be wonderful. Perhaps actually now, we should come up with some sort of key phrase. That way, if another one of us also, although I think it's the moment only Bella and I that have these hanging friends. So Bella, if you also would like a phrase, so that we could know that you are not possessed.
Perhaps it could be the answer to what do you like on pizza?
After a few moments, Corbin shows up with the red.
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno and pineapple. Understood.
Is there anything else you wish to address before getting in the vehicle?
Not for me.
All right. Then as you guys get ready, you get in the vehicle and make your way to KFC. And with that, we are going to go to a break. When we come back, we will check out the Kindred Fighting Club. See you all in a few. Welcome back. So when we left off, the group had come back together and were making their way to KFC. For sake of vocabulary, KFC is in reference to the Kindred Fighting Club. This has been in the city for some time, however, due to things regarding mages, has had to relocate a couple of times. As you make your way, surprisingly not very far from where you are, just kind of on stepping a little out of the downtown area, you find what looks to be a bar. Kind of mostly made of brick. It's kind of a spot that you probably typically this group wouldn't necessarily attend. As you pull up to the area, you can see that there are quite a few people outside. It looks pretty busy. There's a large dude kind of standing outside the entrance. Very standard light bouncer, black tank top, jeans, and heavy boots, checking people as they come to the door. Give me wits and awareness rolls.
Three successes.
Okay.
2 successes.
3.
3.
All right. As you guys step up to the area, you do notice somebody seems to be standing out from the standard crowd. Most people here look like they're kind of like a biker or very kind of retro in style, that just the vibe that they seem to be going with. However, you do see a tall, very fine, eloquently dressed, which most of you will immediately recognize as Victor stepping into the building.
Well, I suppose he's not with Gray, is he?
No, he appears not to be.
Who is that?
The boyfriend.
Oh. What's he doing here?
I guess watching the fights.
Maybe he knows what Gray is.
I'll be back. I'm gonna make my way towards Victor.
Play nice.
Of course.
As you get to the door, the large bouncer up front kind of puts his hand up. Hey, we got a line.
How long is the line?
It looks like there's probably... Well, the place itself looks pretty full right now. You probably got a queue of like 10 to 15 people.
You're right. Sorry. I was just so excited to see the show. I guess I'll go way back in line. I'll head back. I don't want Victor to know I'm too interested in talking to him yet.
Okay.
But he's inside, right?
He got inside, yeah. He walked up, the two had a quick exchange, and he went right on. Skipped the queue.
Of course he did.
What are the rest of you doing?
Sophie is going to activate Sense the Unseen to keep a look around us.
Okay.
Maggie will look back up to the front. Isn't this a establishment for our sort?
I believe it is it not? Isn't that what Edwin said?
Kind of looks at the line. Does
There
this
are
mean
several
just-
kinds. So what do you wish to do?
So we
Don't
just
we have a coterie merit for this?
Actually, yeah, I think we do.
do we have all
Remind me?
access?
1 sec. Yeah, we have all access.
I didn't think we had that. I don't know why we didn't have that. I would have led with that.
Thank you for
Re-
reminding us.
Refresh memory.
Hold on. I'm pulling it up. Okay. It is somewhere here. Ugh. All right, here we go. Whether it's a premiere film by a budding amateur or fundraising gala from aspiring politician or dive bar that suddenly has a dress code because it doesn't like the looks of you, you know how to get yourself in, even with an actual invitation. Once per date game session, when the coterie is faced with a barrier to enter a mortal event or facility, they can get past bouncers or security guards by being on the guest list or having a connection to whatever passes as owner or patron. This only applies to situations with some kind of door staff or guest list.
Well, then that does change things a little bit. In that case, when you were at the door, when you're at the door, he kind of stops for a moment. We have a line. What's your name?
It's Bellatrix.
He looks down at a little list that he's got. Okay, yeah. Edwin said you guys will be coming.
Oh, good. Wave to the rest of the group.
Main floor, that's where everyone generally is. Downstairs is the fun zone.
Got it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And he lets you all in. When you enter the main area, you see there are all sorts of people kind of strung about, mostly like playing pool, or they've got like a little bar with a TV playing whatever sports game is on at the moment, sports event. As you are stepping in, you clock again Victor speaking to somebody toward the back and then heading downstairs. The place is pretty crowded. Looks like there's roughly about 40 people in here. It's not a massive space. How do you wish to proceed?
With Sensei Unseen, does Sophie see anyone who is purposefully intending to not be noticed?
Okay, so first, go ahead and give me a wits and obfuscate that we'll consider just the flat for the scene.
What's an obfuscate or auspex?
Auspex. Terribly sorry. Words are hard, guys. All right.
That's a messy critical?
Interesting. Okay. I think your fan compulsion is going to trigger with that. As you step in, you do notice off in the corner of the room, you see somebody with kind of a gross kind of, it almost looks as if they've been a horrible burn victim, but it goes a little further than that. Like it seems to kind of, the skin seems to kind of fall and kind of hang in places. It looks like a burn victim who has never quite finished the healing process. He's got these little kind of beady, pinkish, like rat eyes that are just kind of peering around the area. He makes eye contact with you, kind of tilts his head a little bit, and then continues looking around the room.
Sophie is going to reach her hand out and touch Maggie's arm. Maggie, dear. In the back there, there may potentially be one of those nefarious spirits, or perhaps it's just someone who's had an unfortunate accident with a reactor, but it is it's a bit unsightly. It's a bit scary. Do you see in the back there?
Maggie will very gently pat Sophie's hand, and she will look back to the corner and activate Sense the Unseen.
Yeah, I think with the direction and everything, sure. You see the Nosferatu kind of peeking around. They're wearing, they have like this horrific scarred and indented skin all over their body as they're wearing like a black tank top, jeans kind of perched on the table like a gargoyle, just seems to be scanning the room.
Okay, they don't resemble like a spirit at all. They resemble a Nosferatu.
This is a kindred.
Okay. Very gentle, another pat on Sophie's hand. Don't worry, they are part of our social club.
Yes, well, still maybe perhaps we should avoid them. They don't they make me a bit uneasy.
Then we don't have to talk to them.
Perhaps we should move downstairs as soon as possible.
I figured that they were walking and talking as this was going on.
Okay.
You said Victor was headed downstairs, right?
Victor made his way downstairs.
Okay.
Follow the leaders.
I'm already headed down.
You make your way downstairs. It's like a wooden steps with a wooden railing going until there's walls around you. There is a heavy metal door at the end of the stairwell. You reach down, and as soon as you pull it open, noise that was not there at all suddenly pours and rushes into the space that you're at. As you hear the sounds of people cheering, the sounds of people just shouting obscenities. It is very lively down here. As you step in, it's very dimly lit, mostly red lighting. You see there are people kind of climbing and hanging off of certain fixtures. People watching as there's this kind of large cage in the center of the room, kind of like a hexagon little stage. There are over on the sides of the room where you see that there are kind, all kind of standing back wearing the same like sleeveless like black button tops. All each have like a little armband on, kind of just sitting quietly to the side. You see there are some people kind of going over, talking and interacting with them, taking them to like little back alcoves. But what draws your attention immediately is on the stage. As there's this very large individual. Skin's a bit grayed. He's wearing a t-shirt with some kind of large baggy shorts. He's roughly standing around 6'3", very heavy set, and he's in kind of a aggressive stance, and he is in the middle of a duel or a battle. Would you please introduce yourself and describe your character?
Drake is extremely lax in his body posture. A absolutely stunning individual that looks like dirt has never touched them. With a well-trimmed goatee, and currently just in a gray tank top and black denim jeans. He's lithe and muscular, and he has a confident smirk on his face as he's looking up at this tall, imposing individual. And there's a bit of a bounce to his step, like he has a beat in his head.
You're mute. We can't hear you.
I didn't even hit the button. There we go. As you guys are watching, the two of them seem to kind of fight for a few moments, but the smaller one seems to be much more evasive and almost mockingly so. After a few moments, Drake, how do you resolve the conflict?
Drake literally bounces almost to the edge of the stage, and as he looks at the man, he looks back out of the crowd and just gives the most cheeky wink imaginable. Before, almost in the blink of an eye, he is directly into the guy's face, and almost jumps behind him or slides behind him, grabbing at one of his arms, ripping it back almost to the point of cracking the arm. The arm looks almost like it's about to be torn off, and with an elbow jamming into the back of his neck, brings the man down straight on his face with enough force to shake the stage. And as he presses down, he just growls in his ears and just keeps digging harder, almost like he's about to break not only the arm off, but the neck, until the man yields. And he lets go, pats him on the head. And as he walks back, he grabs off a little post, a black felt cowboy hat, puts it on his head before he shrugs into a black denim vest. Finally grabbing a oddly shaped sword sheath that he puts on his back alongside a almost bandolier of stakes.
As you witness this, you finally get a moment to kind of get a full picture of the room. And you do see Bellatrix. Victor is on the other side, and he seems to be watching the Victor.
Okay. Is he talking to anyone?
He's by himself at the moment.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way over there.
Okay. So, here. Okay. As you approach, it takes a while for him to take his gaze off of Drake when finally his eyes shift toward you.
Roll my head and look at him. Victor, hi. Not sure if you remember me. I was a friend of Gray's, came to your last little opening.
Yes, you were at the dinner where I met. You were at the dinner where I met Gray. Bellatrix.
Yes, correct. I'm pleased that you actually remember me. Honestly, I just came over to ask if you had seen Gray in the past few days. Usually he tends to text me a bit, and I haven't heard from him.
No, darling. I assumed he was with you. That's where he spends most of his time, anyway. With your little group.
He does, which has me a bit concerned since I haven't seen him. I'd like to roll insight on Victor.
Sure.
Five successes.
Okay. As you're kind of watching, there's a couple things that you notice. One, there does seem to be a slight venom in his voice when he references your coterie. The other, you have heard about some of the aspects of their relationship, and you know Victor is not one to be ignored. And if he has not heard from Gray at some time, if he's not involved, he's at least putting on a face regarding the anger he's feeling. But there is something, he's clearly hiding something.
Well, it's a shame. Thanks for letting me know. I guess I'll have to look other places. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
I'll head back over to my coterie.
He returns to shifting his attention toward Drake. As you regroup,
I'll subtly nod towards The last winner. We get him.
Okay. We should go talk to him and see about his prices.
Wait yet.
Hmm?
Wait yet. Don't go directly. Oh. Yeah, because I'll glance back at Victor, whose attention is on Drake. I don't want Victor knowing that we have an interest in him.
And- Fair point.
About that moment, you'll see Drake moving down from the stage as the next couple fighters are getting ready. And Victor just kind of swiftly moves from the wall and approaches. Drake, as you've gathered your things, you're waiting around for whatever you're going to do again for the evening. You hear someone kind of move up beside you. But aren't you just darling?
I've been called a few things. I wouldn't say darling is one of them. Who might you be?
He holds his hand out. Victor Adams.
Drake looks at it for a second, raising an eyebrow. Or taking it strongly. All right, Mr. Adams. What can I do for you?
Well, I happened recently to find myself in need of talent. And you certainly fit the bill. Are you by any chance interested in modeling? You are beautiful.
Oh, don't I know it? But I can think of better things to do with my time than strut around like a peacock. At least if I'm going to strut around, I might as well get something out of it. And I don't think. Hey, look, his eyes roam up and down. I think you might be a little too soft for my proclivity.
Oh. I'm sure you'd find that's not an issue. However, I do find people who work for me aren't entirely happy if they're not paid. You would be compensated. And I have many connections.
I'll tell you what, Victor. For now, how about you give me your card? And if I think I have some need of that, I'll let you know, and we can probably work something out. How's that sound?
He reaches into the breast of his jacket and pulls out a card and kind of puts it in your hand and then slowly pulls their hand back as they drag it across yours.
Yeah, you're soft, all right. And he'll flash it.
When was the
Put it
last
into
time
his-
you tended a garden?
His eyes immediately lock down on Victor.
It's been some time, hasn't it? I look forward to hearing from you.
A word of advice. Be a bit more mindful of your words next time. Shall you?
I am always mindful of my words, darling. And he turns from you. You watch as the rest of you see Victor with a very pleased expression walks past you and heads upstairs.
Should have tied him to something and left him in the fire.
Well,
People would have actually suspected something then.
He's out of the room. Can we go talk to him now?
Yes, let's go. Let's start with the job we have, and then we'll worry about Victor later.
Sophie will follow Maggie and Matthew, but very close behind them. She seems very uncomfortable with the amount of people and the rambunctiousness of the crowd.
Maggie will kind of reach back and kind of pat Sophie's arm. There's a distinct note of discomfort in her as well with this loud and rowdy of a place. But she will continue pushing on and kind of glance over at Matthew and then over at Bella.
Matt looks absolutely just appalled to be here. He's just turned his nose up at this, and he just looks. If I wanted to watch a bunch of gorillas beating on each other, I'd just rewatch Planet of the Apes.
Just remember, we're here for a mission.
Yes, and usually these kind of exchanges take a moment, but we can be in and out fairly quickly.
Finally, you close the distance. And Drake, it's very clear a group of people have just walked up on you.
Drake will have been staring at the business card for a second, kind of indenting it before he puts it away. Turns. I'm popular tonight. Who might you be?
Maggie Lewis. We're told by Mr. Kane that there may be someone here that could assist us with some work.
More popular than honey to a bear. All right, Miss Maggie. It was kind of you to introduce yourself. What about your friends here?
I mean, you did win, so what do you
I always
expect
win.
other than be popular? Exactly, so why wouldn't you be popular? I'm Bellatrix.
Job. And he looks at the others.
Adam. Pleasure.
I just met a man with the last name of Adams. Can't say I'm too happy about it.
Trust me. I wouldn't be either.
All right. And you, darling?
Claudia Kensington. It's nice to meet you. Although this place is it's a bit more violent than my tastes.
Yeah, you must be on a mission then if you came here willingly. This is a light night. Shall we head
You have
somewhere
somewhere
a
about
bit...
Sorry.
I was just about to suggest, shall we go someplace where we can mostly hear ourselves?
Excellent idea.
When in Rome?
Is there
There's a
anywhere
couple.
private in this area?
There's a couple areas in the back where people can have more, more private interactions with one another without the noise. It's very soundproofed. When you step inside, they're kind of like a very dark, almost appearing black walls with these kind of brown leather seats that seem to be attached to the walls themselves going around. When the door comes closed, almost everything outside goes quiet.
Oh, please take a seat. What can I do for you, lovely?
Well, we've been tasked with some heavy lifting, and sadly, we lack anybody with the ability to really lift anything heavy. So we thought we would go window shopping and see if anything struck our fancy.
Oh, I strike your fancy, do I?
Well, as my friend here pointed out, and he'll just kind of motion to Bella, you did win. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're who we want. Just because you won once doesn't mean you'll keep winning.
Oh, I've won more than one. So, tell me about this job of yours. And he leans back, crossing his arms.
We introduced ourselves. Who are you?
Drake Monahan. Pleasure to meet y'all.
This kind of looks to Matthew. This job is delivery from north to south. We need to make sure it's safe and secure.
Is it
Bit of an
supposed to be
escort.
going north? Ah, so it is supposed to be going north. All right.
It's actually supposed to be coming from the north to the south.
Ah, my mistake.
And y'all are worried about some people getting a little bit of greedy with the hands in the cookie jar.
Something like that.
Oh, what's it worth it to y'all?
We have some very influential friends. What do you want?
Yeah. I've been offered influence. Interesting. Let's see, I'm not exactly hurting for resources. Well, you know, I could use a nice little space to finish setting up. I've not exactly been able to make this place a home quite yet. If you wouldn't mind me kind of giving me an area that I could call my own, I might be willing to use something more solid.
Place to take root, place to hide out, take a nap if you need. Something like that.
I think root is a good way to put it.
Seems fairly easy.
Of course,
Someplace you won't have to worry about being disturbed or disturbing others, perhaps. Because, and he'll just kind of, you seem very energetic down here.
I wouldn't call it energetic. The city hasn't really put up a challenge yet. But who knows, maybe there's someone still out there. Of course, if y'all screw me, I think the cost of that should go without saying.
It could go with saying, actually.
Yes, please. I mean, I know we've just met. This is our first date, but just with a little less cockiness.
I like you. Well, let's just say death is hardly the only thing I do.
There is the cigar shop that recently has changed owners.
No, definitely not that. One, hopefully it won't be standing too much longer.
That sounds like a story.
Again, first date. Maybe later, if you stick around.
Well, you all seem like you've got you want this job done. So for now, how about we get to work, and I for now trust that you're not going to screw me.
Do you
Sound good?
usually? Is this the first time you've done a job like this?
Oh, no. I've
What is your
done a very.
standard fare?
It changes. It's situational, especially lately. I've been a bit more mobile than I used to be.
So you don't want to be paid up front.
I don't need a immediate payment. I think making sure that solid foundation after I prove myself will be quite enough for now. The unpleasantness has already been handled and stated, so. And once I think you'll see what I can do, more than just bopping a meathead on the head, I think they'll pretty much solidify my worries. Call it a trial.
Audition.
That assumes that I can't land the part.
Do you happen to have any enemies currently interested in, say, capturing you, or hunters, or anything of that sort?
Hunters? Can't say I've dealt much with hunters. But, I mean, we're kindred. When don't we have enemies? Yes, I have a couple. But they've been far off and away for a while. Kind of made a pretty solid statement on why they should leave me alone.
So you have enemies, okay. Are we in agreement that you will be assisting us with this work?
I see no reason not to at the moment, so sure.
Excellent. I'm sure we can we will get you more details when we have them. The job will be occurring in a couple of days, at the end of the week, actually.
Drake will raise a finger. So I'm curious, Pinky over here has been a little bit quiet. What's on your mind?
What do you want to know?
Well, I do know usually the quiet ones are the ones that listen the most, which means that you have your own opinions.
Saw what you could do once. Like to see what you could do again. I suppose if all goes well with this mission, you'll have your place. And maybe we'll work together again.
Okay. Alright. It sounds like a deal to me.
Of course, we can discuss it in greater detail when it comes closer to it. But so far, yeah, I think he'll do.
If things go well with this, I may have further work for you. And I will need your prices.
We'll work it out.
She kind of looks around. If we have fully discussed everything, I would like to leave.
Of course. It was a pleasure, Drake.
Oh, I know it. Pleasure meeting y'all, too.
I'll be in contact in a few days when we have a location.
Good.
Do you have a location or anything that we can reach you?
I'm here most nights. I can probably leave something with Mr. King if I need to. He pulls out an old flip phone. I suppose just you could put your number in here. I don't really care much about it.
I'll take the phone and put my new number in. Once again, it was a pleasure. I look forward to working with you.
And
Look,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
And Matt will be standing up. Yes, that sounds good. Yes. Yeah, I think he'll do just fine for now.
Drake will fully lean back and put his up on the table and lift his hat. I'll be seeing y'all.
Maggie will pull a card out of her bag and hand it over to Drake. Ask for Dr. Corwin.
Sure thing.
Sophie will stand and she starts to raise her arm, but then quickly lowers it. Pleasure, Drake. Radon here is a bit stifling. Maybe we should leave.
I'll move to take took my arm into Sophie's elbow. Let's go, Claudia. Get some air.
Now, this room, is it closed off?
You guys
Okay.
are in like a closed door booth. As the booth opens, there is a large individual standing in your way, and behind him, the Nosferatu. The Nosferatu, as Bellatrix and Sophie are at the door, points at Bellatrix. Yeah, that's her.
What did I do?
Oh, we got a report. Saying that you were smuggling a narcotic that we don't allow in this bar.
Can Drake hear that from where he is?
Yeah, it's like 2 feet from you.
Gentlemen, they have yet to walk out. Our business means our business isn't fully concluded yet. If you want to start problems when I'm handling things, you're gonna have a problem with me. And you're not gonna like having a problem with me.
Give me manipulation and intimidation.
Right. My mouse would work. One moment. There we go. Oh. Can I add my intimidation specialty? Coercion?
I don't think so in this case.
I'm going to let's hunger. Actually, you know what? No, I won't. 2.
Drake. Rules is rules. And turns back to our Bellatrix. We don't allow elevate in the club.
Oh, I don't have any of that.
We have reports saying that you were offering your round to the kindred down here.
Oh. Was it by a Toreador with his snooty attitude? Thinks he's better than everybody else? He gotta get something against me. Do you want to check?
I'm afraid we gotta.
Great. Well, he might have planted it on me, I suppose, but let's deal with this.
We were with her the whole time. She wasn't doing anything of the sort.
You came with her. Why would I take your word for it?
Because do I look like the sort that would actually deal with that sort of company?
Come
Why
in all
would you
shapes and
believe-
sizes.
So, would you believe the word of a random kindred or the whip of Clan Markavian? I'm using my status. This is still Camarilla territory, correct?
It is.
Yeah, I'm using my status.
Okay. Go ahead and give me I'll call it manipulation and persuasion.
Okay. Can status? What does status?
I was gonna have it reflect difficulty.
Okay. I am going to blood surge.
Mhm.
I get hungrier. It's fine.
Can I have it assisted with that?
Yeah, sure.
Do I also roll it? Is that just add on?
It is
You just
that
add- Really dice. Critical success, 6 successes.
Okay. He kind of freezes for a moment. I apologize. Didn't realize you were the whip. But I'll let it slide this time. However, the rules of the establishment is if we receive a report on that, we do have to do something about it.
I understand. I'll be sure not to carry any with me when I come to the establishment.
That's much appreciated.
Now
Any... Good.
I was gonna say, now I believe my friend and I were going to get some air. You have a good evening.
You as well. Thanks for stopping by. Any steps out of your way?
Head out. Thinking,
Maggie kind of glances back at Drake. You need better staff.
I don't run the place.
And could-
I just take everyone's money.
Ah, so it's an accident you pretend that you run. Yes. Understood. She continues on her way out.
I'm leaving thinking, I'm gonna burn Victor's Haven down.
As they go, Drake does get up and he stares at the two of them. Was it this Victor that told you?
I know I'm not supposed to say.
Neither of you could stop me if I really wanted to push it. He came to me with business. I need to know who I might be dealing with. More so if he's going to interrupt with my current business.
That's between the two of you.
I like you. I like coming here. Please. You know I'm not the type for subterfuge.
I appreciate that. But we are running a business here. And making things that were releasing information that we don't typically do makes it a little people more hesitant to come through here. So if that is a problem for you, I'm sure you can find another place to beat the shit out of somebody.
Well, I'd say the silence is enough of an answer. Well, good evening to you, gentlemen. Make sure to bet on me next time.
They go back to work. They go back to their posts.
Now, is this are there people like being all kinds of crazy? Is there like ruckuses and random things breaking out, or is it just localized to the people fighting?
Around the cage, it seems to get really rowdy, but at the moment, while the fight hasn't started yet, people have kind of died down. There's more just general conversation, has more of the feel of a normal bar. But once the violence happens, that's when people tend to go a little feral.
Matt is going to kind of wander back in, as I'm guessing Drake is walking out of the booth. All right.
Yeah, he's walking out.
And he'll just kind of stare at him. Now, right now, you're a necessary evil. But let me show you how to really do it. And he will turn, and he will just pick somebody out of a random crowd at closest to him. And he will look for the biggest guy there closest to the cage. And the first guy he picks, he's going to use Mesmerize on.
Okay.
And so I will roll for that.
Yes. There. So manipulate and dominate versus intelligence and resolve.
And I'm gonna blood surge.
Sophie, hello.
Hi.
Okay. What was the criteria for who you were looking for?
He was just going to pick somebody random that
Mhm.
was close by, and then he was going to try to find one of the biggest guys that are over by where the cage is.
And are you doing this to the big guy or the random guy?
To the random guy, the one that's closest to him.
Okay.
Seven with a crit.
You walk up. You see an individual who is wearing kind of like a dark blue button up with some slacks that are just like a little too large. He's kind of got them hiked up a little bit as he's kind of sitting there watching the people in the cage getting ready for the fight. What do you command as you make eye contact and use the ability?
I will lock eyes with him, and I will tell him, go punch him in the face.
He stands up, looks over at the big guy, walks across the room. Gets just a couple feet from him, kind of looks up. And then he leaps up. When he does, you see he jumps higher than a person his size probably ought to, and then comes down and slams his fist down onto the individual, knocking them down into the table behind him, and immediately begins to start a bar fight.
As he's doing this, Matt is looking directly at Drake.
Drake nods. Impressive. And Devlin, I would like to roll for Blink and to whip out a stake and grab Matt and have it right over his heart.
Okay.
With rapid reflexes to pull out the stake in at the blink.
So go ahead and give me the Raj check and the Dex Athletics.
We'll blood search it. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's the wrong. Oops. Ignore that one. Doing the wrong amount. And I spent willpower. Four.
Okay. Now, both of you give me contested strength and rolls.
You said strength and brawl?
Yep.
Five successes. Ignore that one. That was when I put in the wrong value.
Okay.
0.
He nods at you, and almost as quickly as he nods, he zooms through the bar fight. And next thing you know, you've got the front of your shirt yanking you up a little bit with a stake lined up on your chest.
Drake is specifically looking at his forehead, making sure he's not making eye contact. If I ever find you pulling that shit on me, death will be a release. Do I make myself clear, Mr. Adam?
You'll do. For now.
Drake, let's go. Pats his face. So will you. I'll get out of here. We gotta get going.
Well, yeah. Never stick around to watch the fight.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes they're fun. Come on, get that sexy ass of yours out of here.
And he will make his way out.
Maggie will meet him at the door and kind of peer at him. Did you have fun playing with your food?
Just wanted to prove a small point.
Was it proven?
Yeah. In more ways than one.
Let's get out of here. It smells like sweat and cheap booze.
Yes. And I am feeling a little peckish now.
Kind of looks around to find where Bella and Sophie went off to get air. I am not a great help with people.
Easy enough. You guys finally make your way outside the bar, where the noise is not as ever present. You meet up with Sophie and Bellatrix. Before you do, Sophie and Bellatrix, you are alone for the moment. Is there anything happening this moment?
Once we get to like a private spot, like away from the view of the fight club, I'm going to be searching myself.
Okay. Yeah. As you go looking through your bag, you don't have any elevate.
Okay. Are you all right?
I'll be all right. My grandsire, you said, did he tell you, who he was?
He called himself Jay. But no, he didn't really reveal much about himself.
Jay. Janice? Jacob? Jurgis? Julian? Jay. Thank you, Bella. I just, I needed, to be out of there. It was, just a bit much.
Loud, stuffy. Non-sweaty bodies beating each other up. Look, I don't know what's going on with you and your family, but if you need help, like I said, I'm here. Charlie's here.
Thank you. I really do appreciate all of the help that you've given Duncan and I. I really do.
Good. And I'm sorry that your family seems to be so bad. My own is great. At least my own sire.
But it's not so bad. I mean, Duncan is wonderful, and now I have you and Charlie, and also Maggie and Mr. Holden, who we're still a bit not as familiar as we could be, but I'm sure in coming time we'll be great friends.
I'm sure. He's going through some things right now, so he lost someone very important to him. You know. And now I'm afraid we lost Gray.
Oh, we should hope that he might just be on one of those trips to Tampa.
No, that's not good. Well, I'll find out what happened. Figure it out. But you think you're ready for the next few days?
Yes, I'll be quite fine.
All right.
I'll say at this point, the rest of you make your way over.
Well, I think that was quite successful.
In many ways. I think Victor's hiding something about Gray.
I think that Victor fellow is probably hiding quite a few things. But at least the rest of us have a face to him now.
Yeah.
Has he been a problem for all of you before?
We were more of a problem for him, to be honest.
I see. Does
Yeah.
he know you were a problem?
I'm sure he suspects.
Well, you.
He doesn't really like any of us.
May I be honest, and please don't be too upset. I was asked to report on Gray's dealings with Victor to Mr. Hodges in return to his help with getting Duncan back. I haven't been really keeping up that side of the bargain because, well, to be honest, I feel like Hodges put Duncan in more danger than actually helping or saving him. But regardless, he did ask for that. I feel like that information may be pertinent to this situation, so I thought I would bring it up as you have come to be very trusted in my eyes.
Yeah, not upset. That just gives me another lead. Besides,
Okay.
you didn't report anything, so I suppose if circumstances were different and, you know, you had reported things, I would be more upset, but it didn't happen, so I'm not. Gray would have thrown a fit. If he comes back.
Gray frequently throws fits. They're just very subtle.
You haven't known him very long if you think they're subtle.
And the one that he threw with me over religion was a subtle.
Oh, he was probably trying to convince you. Who knows?
Bellatrix at this moment. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Bellatrix at this moment, you get a ping on your phone.
Check my phone.
It's from Gray. But it's pinging a location. But before you could get the specific address, it immediately goes dark. But it appears to be up in Clearwater. Or just south of it.
Where's the fire?
There's a ping on Gray's location,
Oh.
but I lost it quickly. I may have somebody who can figure it out, though. I'll look into it. We should probably focus on what's going to happen in the next few days and prepare.
All right. Maggie will send off a text to Jarvis to come and pick them up. Take them back to the Ascent.
You make your way back to the Ascent. What's on everybody's mind? I'll just call on you in order. As you make your way back, Bellatrix, you first.
Victor was definitely hiding something, but Hodge's interest in Gray and Victor does present another angle that it could possibly be. Also, that ping of it disappearing is very strange. Hopefully, when I go see Ox soon, he might be able to help me with that. Concern, mostly for Gray. I actually kind of like him. Would be ashamed to lose him.
Maggie.
There is some concern about Gray because she's grown closer to this coterie and she enjoys their company as people. And the sudden disappearance of a location ping is disturbing. Because usually dropping a pin and then it's suddenly dropping alludes to not great things. And she knows enough about that kind of stuff to be able to determine that. And she's kind of distancing herself from the experience at the Fight Club because she did not enjoy that. And she's just trying to continue to plan forward.
Matthew.
He's concerned for Gray. And he kind of is in the same boat as Maggie. It appearing and then suddenly vanishing that quickly does not bode well. So he's cautious on what that could mean. And this whole spiel of what they just went through, he did not have himself a good time at all at this club. He was not comfortable in the least bit. And he's seeing this new gentleman that they were just introduced to. He's going to be very cautious with that one, not because of what he did, but of what he revealed to him, and that's his volatility. So he's going to keep him at a distance and eyes on him as much as possible.
And Sophie.
Sophie is thinking that she would like to buy a gun.
Okay. You arrive at the ascent. And with that, we're going to go ahead and shift to our final scene. You guys break off after coming together. Going to see each other again in just a couple of days. Regrouping with Drake in order to do the job you were given. We shift a little northwest of your position to a large mansion, to a dark room, to a heel standing on a shattered phone. The sound of something heavy being dragged. Now, darling, I told you what would happen if you didn't behave. We're gonna have to tighten that collar just a little bit. And then you hear the sound of something piercing flesh. And with that, we will bring this session to a close. Thank you, everybody, for tagging along so far. And Truck, welcome back. Looking forward to exploring Drake's story alongside with the rest of the coterie. We will see you all in the next chapter.